Do you think that William Ruto, like the president, he has got his own team that he believes, he trusts that now this is my team that whatever, if at all maybe something happens wrong, I can depend on?
No, because William Ruto, first of all, if you want to understand why William Ruto will not deliver anything to Kenyans, Raila one time say, even if you give him 100 years, he won't deliver anything. And I think maybe Raila has joined him because Raila knows he can deliver nothing. And Raila is just there to enjoy the paraphernalia of it. In fact, let me just give it to me. Let me tell you what Boniface. I was in Bomas. Raila Odinga won the election. So after Ruto akimpatia handshake, atakula tu a quarter what he won. So let them not blame him.
Let the old man enjoy.
Yes, let him enjoy. Because see, if you won an election and then it was rigged from you, then someone gives you a half of the half term. That's like getting a quarter. So nusu mkate, it was at the beginning they shared with Kibaki. Ilikuwa nusu, sivyo? Uhuru pia ilikuwa nusu, sivyo? Lakini hii ni a quarter. Lakini ya quarter ni kama ni tamu kuliko ile half. You know, there's a time when a quarter loaf of bread can be better than a full loaf of bread. And I think this Raila is enjoying it because there's no responsibility. There's nothing to be delivered. You are working with someone who does not care. Understand? Uhuru had some projects that needed to deliver. Kibaki had some projects to deliver. But here is whereby you know the guy wants to deliver nothing, but he's giving you all the trappings of power. Enjoy, my brother. So I've seen people blaming Raila Odinga for joining. I don't blame Raila Odinga for joining Ruto's government. The only thing I'll blame Raila Odinga is if Raila Odinga will dare ever want us to give Ruto a second term.
Welcome back to Havana Media. My name is Prof.Ogola, and as usual, I'm going to be your host for today. Now, I'm very glad once again to host Professor Ogola here. It's been long. He's been busy, you know, moving up and down. We also need to survive. So I want to give him time to at least tell us where he was, and then we just go direct to our discussion. Prof.
Yes.
Welcome once again.
Welcome, Bon.
Yes.
Yeah, you know why we haven't met is that a lot has been going on. I was in the Coast Province trying to execute the conference for Association of Women Accountants of Kenya. And of course, I'm also teaching the pension board members on what they can talk about designing a good communication for them, communication strategies. I also know I have to do some consulting here and there because you see, apart from this is not our main work because we also have to feed the family because, you know, your wife cannot allow you to be making noise in the media and there's no food at home.
Yeah, that's true.
Because there are some things you must come first. A man is not a man until they can be able to keep the household going. And that's the problem I have with William Ruto, whereby he is a father, but everybody is hungry. And those have a problem where people call someone Baba, but the people who come from that area also remains really in serious economic challenges. But I'm not sure whether he's supposed to be blamed. Nevertheless, I'm trying to say a head has a responsibility, and that's what I was playing for myself.
Now, very nice. Before we get into what I want us to talk about, I think I heard you in the morning today. I think you're in TV47, if I'm not wrong.
Yes.
And there is something that you said. I would like you to repeat it.
Yes.
You said something to do with that Kenya we're being led by a group of politicians, not a team.
Yeah. You know, Bon, there's a difference in leadership between a group and a team. A group are people who have no common vision, have no common goal. They have no common formation. For example, a group can be, when you meet people in the market, you can find them a group. Boda can be a boda group if they don't have a common group where they are doing something like, let's say, table banking, just waiting to carry passengers. You can also find people waiting for a matatu. They can just be a group. Or when during break, when you're in school, primary school, we used to work as a group. But you just work and you discuss anything and anything, but there's no common vision. But a team is different because a team answers the key questions in management. Why are we here? You could be here, for example, you want to change your society, you want to bring about environmental stewardship. And then the question is, what do we need to do? For example, the word can be, let us plant trees. It's very clear. Let's plant trees. Let's plant 1,000 trees. Let's plant 1 million trees, something like that. Then the other question is, how do you do that? Either do you buy seedlings, or you can be able to do your own seedlings. So the how must be well explained. How will you finance it? How will you water the trees? So how is there? Then the other thing is the formation. Who is in charge of what? That's the team. Who is in charge of this one? Who is in charge of that one? And who works for who? Who reports to who? Who initiates what? Who approves what? These questions cannot be answered by Kenya Kwanza. Kenya Kwanza, I can tell you that every 3 months we're having either a new CS or a new PS. How can you, before, even during Moi time, at least we used to know that when you're appointed the cabinet, at least you have 2.5, 5 years to work. Then after that one, you can be reshuffled to be taken to another irrelevant ministry or something, or a better ministry, or at least you'll serve your 5 term. But here, William Ruto's government, whereby this person comes in, that person leaves. That one leaves, that one comes in. So at one given time, the cabinet is not complete. Like now, the cabinet is not complete.
Yeah.
Because, for example, Ruto, who has been nominated, has to go through vetting. And as going through vetting, some people are settling in. When he finishes and settles in, then again, he has been transferred to another department. Because I find it very tricky that William Ruto has had 3 ministers of interior, 3 ministers for health. Now he has had 2 ministers for treasury. He has had 2 deputy president. Maybe there'll be a 3rd one. So, and PSS are being changed. Economic advisors are being changed. Ambassadors are being changed. That's why even the foreign policy during the AU was completely mishandled. There's no foreign policy. There's a gap in foreign missions. There's a gap in domestic missions. The economy is suffering because no one is there. So I can tell you that I even find it that even my household has a better job tenure, security of tenure job than Ruto cabinet. And I believe it is impossible to work when you are not sure when you'll be reshuffled or you lose your job. For example, when you see now Justin Muturi has gone, isn't it? Yeah. The other day, the people who are going, were going, like now this lady called Baraza was brought in to sort out health, because she's a health professional. Now she has been taken to environment. Now, how does she work in the environment docket? Now, you go to that environment or CS environment, then the PS looks at you, the directors look at you. Those guys in the lower cadre, they have secretary of jobs. Some of them are working in the ministry for 50 years. They have seen more ministers than you. So what can you tell them? They say, who you? I'm a Kuja internship. So how can you have CSS that looks like interns? How do you have PSS that looks like interns in the departments of government? And that's why I'm asking William Ruto. It is good to have a team where we have a shared vision. There's a shared goal. There's a clear strategy. There's clear targets. There are KPIs. There are timelines, isn't it? There are outcomes. There are deliverables. There are impacts. This one does not part of Ruto's government. He's just like, so long as he's managing politics, things work. And managing politics, you can manage without a team. But a team is a team that scores. For example, football is about to resume now, Premier League, resuming this weekend. You want to go score a goal. The lineup, isn't it? Who is going to be the striker? Do you know that Ronaldo is one of the top scorers at Messi because consistently they were put as a striker? They played match after match. They had security of tenure. That's why even players normally ask to be signed for 5 years, for 3 years. Here, Ruto can sign you for 3 months, then you're out. Then somebody else now comes in. It seems that Ruto is somebody whom I think what I would say that he loses interest too fast. It's like if you have a boyfriend, that this week you are the most beautiful woman, then after 2 weeks, then you are not as beautiful, then you are fired, then another one comes in, isn't it? Then that one now looks very beautiful flower. Like now, Ruku is so beautiful because Ruto is going to Mount Kenya. He has even fired Justin Muturi. Ruku will welcome him very well in Mount Kenya. But after that, you'll find that also there will be goofs and gavs. And then when he gets appointed as Minister for Public Service, which delivers nothing, then you'll find, because public service is where the government service has delivered. That's the fulcrum of government. When you hear public service, ID, is there. Passport is there. Any service that is offered to the public should be there. So if you pick somebody who was not even in your party, somebody who has come in half-time, someone who might have not read your manifesto, and they might not have time to read your manifesto because the manifesto has been stolen. I don't see whether Ruto's manifesto is there. So the team should work together. And in a certain formation, who are the front players? Who are the midfielders? Who are the defenders? Here, it is shifted every now and then. Like now, focus shifts to Mount Kenya, isn't it? Yeah. Why are you trying to make this a Mount Kenya issue? The problems disturbing Kenya are disturbing all Kenyans. So even these things of saying, oh, we remove so and so, Ruto believes that if we take Ruku, because Ruku comes from the same Bere area where Justin Muturi comes in, so he takes the war to them. So mimi nimetoa one of your son and I've given one of your sons. Sasa ninyi mtataka ku accept this other son or you reject this other one. And people Mbere have no choice. It's both your son. Kwa kilo tunasema thuolo lonjiko. The snake has entered inside the guard. So do you break the guard to get milk? Or you just at least ensure the snake is there and the milk is there, but you cannot drink it. So it's a tricky situation. Yeah.
Do you think that William Ruto, like the president, he has got his own team that he believes, he trusts that now this is my team that whatever, if at all maybe something happens wrong, I can depend on?
No, because William Ruto, first of all, if you want to understand why William Ruto will not deliver anything to Kenyans, Raila one time say, even if you give him 100 years, he won't deliver anything. And I think maybe Raila has joined him because Raila knows he can deliver nothing. And Raila is just there to enjoy the paraphernalia of it. In fact, let me just give it to me. Let me tell you what Boniface. I was in Bomas. Raila Odinga won the election. So after Ruto akimpatia handshake, atakula tu a quarter what he won. So let them not blame him.
Let the old man enjoy.
Yes, let him enjoy. Because see, if you won an election and then it was rigged from you, then someone gives you a half of the half term. That's like getting a quarter. So nusu mkate, it was at the beginning they shared with Kibaki. Ilikuwa nusu, sivyo? Uhuru pia ilikuwa nusu, sivyo? Lakini hii ni a quarter. Lakini ya quarter ni kama ni tamu kuliko ile half. You know, there's a time when a quarter loaf of bread can be better than a full loaf of bread. And I think this Raila is enjoying it because there's no responsibility. There's nothing to be delivered. You are working with someone who does not care. Understand? Uhuru had some projects that needed to deliver. Kibaki had some projects to deliver. But here is whereby you know the guy wants to deliver nothing, but he's giving you all the trappings of power. Enjoy, my brother. So I've seen people blaming Raila Odinga for joining. I don't blame Raila Odinga for joining Ruto's government. The only thing I'll blame Raila Odinga is if Raila Odinga will dare ever want us to give Ruto a second term. But by joining, let the son of Jaramogi enjoy. He won this election. But by joining, let the son of Jaramogi enjoy. He won this election. I was in Bomas. I had to fly to Juba to save my life when I was being hunted. And I can tell you, let him enjoy. So he has no team he needs to deliver. Because now, you see Raila saying, I'm not in government. Isn't it?
Twice in a week.
And Ruto is saying, we have welcomed Raila into government. So that we can unite the country. So, are we fools? So look, Ruto is saying, we have brought Raila into government. Isn't
so that
it?
we can deliver.
We can unite Kenyans and deliver. And Raila has given me a team of experts. That's what Ruto is saying. Raila is saying, I'm not in government. Isn't it? Me, I'm in opposition. Isn't it? And what is going in opposition? There's no project going on in opposition. Because who is opposing Ruto? In opposition, there's nothing. Only the generations like us, professionals like me, and the Gen Zs. By the way, I want to tell you, Boniface, people tell me I'm a Gen Z. Me, I'm not a Gen Z. Me, I'm just a professional. But the Gen Z are Gen Zs. The only thing is that we have a common goal. We have shared perspective. So Ruto do not care about anything. So he doesn't have a team. Remember why Ruto does not have a team is, do you think Ruto knows what a team player is?
He doesn't know.
Where did he learn it from? Because Ruto was from experience. You know, for us, give it to them. William Ruto was a University of Nairobi student, isn't it? After graduation, he joined Youth for Kano 92, isn't it? Was Youth for Kano 92 a team?
No.
It's not a team, isn't it?
Yeah.
They were just some goons, isn't it, who had a certain goal to deliver, which they deliver was the goons that were supposed to protect Moi to ensure Moi gets a longer term in office. Survives in office. So has Ruto worked in any company? Give me any recommendation letter where Ruto worked anywhere, even for 1 month, even as a receptionist or as a messenger. Nowhere, isn't it? So he's never worked in any corporate. Then from Youth for Cant until he became an MP, isn't it? Now, what leadership did you see where he was working? So Ruto has never worked in any office, in any special capacity on delivering where you have a team to work with. I've been a professor in Strathmore, academic director for that matter. I was in charge of a team, and I was in charge of professors like myself. I would hire professors, I would allocate them course, I would evaluate them. I would also evaluate the administration that is working with them. I would ensure that I prepare graduation. I used to prepare a team to go with over 1,000, over 200 students to Spain. I would take them for Euro tour. Can you imagine landing 200 people in Barcelona? Students staying for 1 week, laptop imepotea, mwingine amesahau shati yake pale, sijui mwingine alikuwa amesahau simu yake. Barcelona has pickpocketers. Somebody has been pickpocketed his passport. I have to call the embassy in Italy. That coordination, I have gone through it. But also just not coordinating the Strathmore students, also coordinating the ESA students, the hosts, taking them to a tour somewhere. So you've seen that organizing dinner, to come from Kenya and organize a dinner for students in Barcelona.
It's hectic.
Welcome dinner, closing dinner, organize guest speakers to address them about the economy of Europe, talking to them about different business segments in Europe. I've done that. So at least you can tell I've managed a team. Sometimes poorly and sometimes well. Yeah. Like I remember when I joined Strathmore, just to detour. I was educated by Germans and Americans. So when I came to Strathmore, young professor, I was 28 and a half years. I did my PhD I was 28 and a half. And I'm given a department to head. The mistakes I made, my brother. Yeah. I used to tell them, you guys, you don't know what you're doing, So they looked at me and they sabotaged me. They sabotaged me. Is when one day I said, hey, guys, I'm academic director and I'm directing nothing. So I took my team to Manzoni Lodge, the one on Mombasa Road in Machakos, and asked them. Actually, I didn't ask officially. We were just swimming. They said, you guys, man, what's wrong, man? I'm delivering nothing. And I'm a director told me, Professor, wacha tukwambie ukweli. Wewe unajua mingi sana. Na hizo kujua mingi wezi leza nayo. You must know how to work with us. Asking, what am I doing wrong? He told me, you don't understand the work processes. You don't know when you're telling us a certificate should be printed by Tuesday and you're telling us on Monday. You have to do requisition for the certificate in the office. There's a process. If the requisition is done on Thursday and you're giving orders on Monday, how do we get there? And we don't tell you because you're the boss and you think you know. So anyway, calm down, relax, kuja chini. So we're in the swimming pool where I was now just on my short and t-shirt. Actually, it's bare chest. I said, hey, really? So after that, I told them, you guys, let me tell you today, can you give me somebody who will be coming to my office every day like an assistant to put some sense in my head? So the person is coming, Professor, niliona hiyo email yako, hiyo wachana now. Apologize, send the email and apologize and tell them, hey, dear my team, I'm very sorry this went to you. I've just been advised. So that's what happened. Eventually, they said, oh, Fred, we owe you this work, we owe you that work, we owe you this one, we owe you this one. Eventually, I discovered they owe me something, but before I'm done who owed them something, and they delivered nothing. They would sabotage me literally, because I was clueless on how administration takes place. So everybody, I see you here, you can be educated, you can have a PhD, but you've never done anything. You've never picked a team and delivered any job. As an MP, Ruto picked no team to deliver any job, isn't it? When he was a minister, the PS appointed to him by the president, isn't it? You understand me? When he became deputy president, in fact, his office was under the office of the secretary to the cabinet. Kinyo, I was the one running it. So literally, William Ruto has never even hired a team and executed anything with it. That's why he cannot hire the SHA team and execute. He cannot hire a team to do CBC. He makes appointments, for example. The presidential working party for CBC, he appoints like 40 people. Surely, how can 40 people sit in a board? That's a classroom. You understand? Broad-based government. The cabinet looks like a classroom, look like a lecture hall. Why do you need this very expensive, many people around you and you leave at nothing? Because this country just need a lean, clean government with a vision. What is Ruto's vision for this country? When you see him wake up every day, what he talks, does he seem to understand that there's a vision or he has one? So as far as I'm concerned, that's the main problem. Ruto does not have a team. Ruto has a group of people. Ruto is managing politics very well and managing economics very poorly. And I can also tell you not very well because the political mistakes he has made, he will never be forgiven for. Like now Mount Kenya is saying, sisi tumeenda. But tunaweza kutembelea. Ni kama tu kama ulikuwa na bibi, ulikuwa na mtoto na yeye, na amekuacha. Sivyo? But you can still visit
because of the child. Yeah.
But after that you just go back. Na unajua hata rudi. Na huyo bibi ako na bwana. Sivyo? Ukienda huko hata uweze kohoa. Unaenda pole pole, unafinya kengele, unaketi, unangoja kidogo, unaambiwa kaa hapo na leta mtoto. So that's what is happening. So Mount Kenya is gone. Unfortunately fortunately for the president, Mount Kenya itapata bibi. Hajapata bwana. You know, the wife has left home, lakini has not landed on anyone.
Yeah.
So if William Ruto was a wise person, this is what he could have done. Angeenda Mount Kenya, he could have done zero promise to them. He could have started from where the betrayal began. I was to build Mau Mau Road, isn't it? Let me do it. I was to invest in coffee. I was to invest in tea. I was to invest in milk and dairy, isn't it? Production, manufacturing, value addition, job creation, isn't it? Growth of the economy. Because whenever the economy suffers, the biggest investors in that economy suffers more. So Mount Kenya are the largest investors in this economy. Give it to them. Hakuna manja wa kabila. It could be because of so many reasons, isn't it? But I'm saying that is how William Ruto should have approached this issue. Na hii mambo ya kwenda Mount Kenya kupiga kelele juu ya gari awachane nayo. Because he's trying to look for a job which he has. He's the president. So why are you going to Mount Kenya to look for a job? Uko nayo. Ni watu kama sisi, mimi naweza kumwambia Mount Kenya, if you elect me as president, Mau Mau Road will be done. Isn't it? Hiyo mambo ya dairy, understand economics. In fact, I've done study plan for Githunguru Dairy, isn't it? I work with so many people like Magunas, isn't it? I've done study plan for them. Mudokinjo, I've worked for them. Those are Mount Kenya businesses. I've advised them appropriately. So you pick somebody who's an MP to help you in the economy. Kenyan problem is an economic problem that do not need a political solution. If you have malaria, you need a malaria queen, isn't it? Yeah, we cannot be able to give you yogurt
and you have malaria.
No.
Now, you mentioned something concerning the issue of the broad-based government. And I want to ask you this question. This issue of broad-based government, do you think it has got a side effect in our Kenyan economy? Because you find that a lot of people are being paid money and some sectors are really suffering. Now,
Boniface, let me tell you what. Do you know that the Constitution of Kenya, the Public Finance Act, states that not more than 35% of the revenue should go into state offices in terms of recurrent expenditures and the rest. They recommend that maximum that should go into running government should be 35%, but they recommend 30, isn't it? When you look at our situation, we are above 60% recurrent expenditure. And now you saw Ruto added 7 PSs which didn't exist, PS position, isn't it? A PS is just second to the CS. So by adding 7 PSs is like adding 4 CSs with the PSs. Because the CS runs the show. So the other thing is I talked to somebody who was appointed, he has told me, but what exactly am I doing? Like there are some people there who even have no job description. What is important is that unafungua tumbo ya ngombe ili kuwe kubwa so that some people can fit. It's not that they have a function. You understand? So these people have no function really. They're having no value, no impact, no outcome. But what they're taking from us is that they're going to be expensive. That I told you that my vision as somebody who is a presidential hopeful is to run a lean and clean government. run a private sector development, the private sector government, I can tell you this on sure. And I'll link it to the performance of Kenya Airways.
Yeah.
Kenya Airways has been performing poorly, and I did this case study in the year 2006 when I was doing my MBA in Catholic University, and I say that Kenya Airways suffers from general disregard for operational efficiency. When we brought Project Mawingu, where Mawingu was grow like an elephant, it was becoming a white elephant, hedge oil and fuel, caused so many problems for us. So Kenya Airways started suffering because of that Project Mawingu. When Alan Kilanuka came in, he launched a project called Project Kifaru. Unajua sasa Mawingu na Kifaru.
Yeah, na Kifaru, yeah.
Yeah, Kifaru was about to grow the revenue. Instead of investing on growing the underbelly, like grow the largeness of Kenya Airways, grow the revenue. So broad-based government is about growing the size of the government, but not growing the size of service delivery, not growing the healthcare outcomes, not growing the economic outcomes, not growing jobs, but growing what? The size of the government. Now, if you are an MD of a company, would you be more concerned about growing the cost of running the company or growing the revenue that the company generates?
I think the growing the revenue, it's helpful, eh?
Yeah, but you see here, Ruto is growing the size of the government, whereby he's growing the cost of the government, but he's not growing the revenue or the impact to the citizens, because government does not do business like a private sector. But the problem I'm trying to draw here is that Kenya Airways went and grew the revenue. They have added a lot of profitability using operational operating income, and therefore it is back. And I can tell you, let me finish with Kenya Airways first. Bwana Boniface, your pride equals your airline. You know, outside Kenya, what do people know? Kenya Airways. Like, for example, for the Kenyans who fly in West Africa, the most reliable airline to pick you from Ghana, pick you from Nigeria, Abuja, and the rest is Kenya Airways. So, as much as for us, we used to hate Kenya Airways for the lack of profit, these Nigerians respect Kenya because of Kenya Airways. If you can ask, how much does Kenya Airways leads to Kenya respects Kenya Airways? Because Nigeria do not have a functioning airline. In as much as Nigeria can be very noisy, do they have an airline that looks like Kenya Airways? They don't have an airline. Yeah. They must have an airline, but cannot be at the risk of Kenya Airways. When you see Kenya Airways landing in Heathrow, Heathrow Airport in London, it's like we are now colonizing the British again. You see
instead of them colonizing.
So the pride that comes with an airline is unmatched. When you go to, I remember, and this is a story which is very much in my heart. When I was a student in Spain, I was doing my PhD, so you know, every ticket was paid for, everything was paid for. I was being paid to study because of the qualification that was the top best university in Europe, in the world actually. So they booked for me British Airways so that I can fly from Barcelona, Heathrow, London, and then to Nairobi. So when I had taken the flight, we are halfway, we are halfway between London and Barcelona is like 1 hour. So 30 minutes of airborne. Then the air attendant comes and asks me, I was actually sleeping because now I was just waiting to come home. You know what this song? Rudi nyumbani. So narudi nyumbani bwana, narudi nyumbani. Yani you can see the sky, you can feel the air, you can smell ugali, you can smell the omenas. You start smelling sukuma wiki. No, there's no sukuma wiki there. No, even if you get sukuma wiki there, it does not taste the same, doesn't smell the same. It's just something else. It's just something to keep your stomach. Okay. Man, then she asked me, sir, can I see your passport? Then I gave her my passport. Then she told me, sir, you have no transit visa, so you cannot land in Heathrow. I said, I'm asking, so you're going to throw me through the window if I cannot land in Heathrow and this plane has taken off. She said, no, well, what I mean is that when we land in Heathrow, you cannot exit the airport. And you cannot, I said, but I'm not exiting. I just want to move from here. I take the next BA plane and I go, no, you cannot. So she told me, they land me there, then give me the next BA flight back to Barcelona. So what do you mean? you're deporting. You're only deporting yes, but deport me to my country. I'm not from Spain. I'm not Spaniard. Tell me, no, we are deporting you back to the country you came from. So they took me back to Barcelona. When I reached there, I looked for an airline. Which African airline? I'm told there's Air Ethiopia. Then someone told me you can pick a plane from Barcelona to Rome, which is Alitalia. Alitalia is the airline for Italy. Then from Rome, pick KQ. I said, hallelujah. So when they booked for me that plane, after that stubbornness, when I landed in Rome, then I saw KQ landing from where it is, I don't care. I saw the KQ in the wings of Kenya landing. And I'm being told, your plane has landed, ladies and gentlemen, start the pre-check boarding. Man, when I saw the beast Kenya Airways coming to the dock, then eventually they opened the gate. I entered Kenya Airways. Unaona?
The happiness.
Tumekaa hivi kidogo, sivyo? Alafu wanasema mabibi na mabwana
the sound itself
man. You can't believe it, man.
You feel like now you are home.
Feel
you are already
Kenyan.
Home.
You feel Kenyan, man.
The pride itself.
The pride. Then after mabibi na bwana, I was doubting, can Kenya Airways go to the runway and take off in Europe and come home? You're like, you can't believe it.
You can't believe it.
Then the beast comes, take off, runway 360,000 kilometers per hour and takes off quickly in Rome. Then you can see on the wings of hope of Kenya, when you can see Kenya always navigating those long buildings in Rome, and you're like, wow. I'm in Kenya. You're not waiting to land. You are in Kenya. Kama kwa hiyo kitu Kiswahili ndio unaweza zungumza ukitaka. Sivyo? Unaelewa? Chakula zimetengenezwa nyumbani. You don't wait to land in Kenya. You are home.
You are home already.
This is the beauty of being Kenyan. That's the feeling of patriotism we are looking for. So I want to applaud my brother Alan Kiwanuka. Please, let it not flip again. We were there before. Titus Nakuni gave us hope. Then the airline almost went under. And I want to thank the government, and I'm sorry to say this is the first time I'm thanking government in a long time, because non-interference with private companies is the reason why Kenya Airways has recovered. Yes. Because what's happening, I talk about private sector driven. We had so many politicians working with the airline. Some of them were the ones supplying the planes. Some of the ones who had to fuel the airline before it takes off. So that's why sometimes you see Kenya Airways has delayed to take off, because there's a politician who was supposed to fuel it, but they don't have the tankers at the airport. So even if there's another person who can fuel, they say, no. If so-and-so does not fuel, tutapigwa fine. So either interferences, clean them up. Let us have an airline that gives us the pride we want. Let us invest in Kenya Airways. And if the president decided not to interfere with the Kenya Airways, we thank you for that. That one I can thank you. Let's be honest here. We thank the president and the government, the Minister for Transport for that matter, for having not interfered with the government. Let Kenya Airways run as a private company. Look at the state corporations that moved away from government. KCB was government dominated. National Bank. Do you know before, if you want to get a loan from this National Bank, you have to go to Moi? Yeah. Moi could write you a letter, then you go to the bank and get a loan, which you want to pay. And if you don't pay him, it's okay. But ukipinga Moi, unasikia you are bankrupt. Ask people like Muite. Ask James Orengo. That's why sometimes I love and not love Orengo at the same time. He comes from the same place. Those could just be siblings rivalry, maybe. But James Orengo should do better in CI anyway. What I'm trying to say in short is that Orengo suffered. Moi ensured every politician had a loan.
Every politician?
Yes. If you are serious politician, they gave you a loan. Sasa, kumpenga. Unaona front page, auctioneers coming to your house. Ask Paul Mwite. The other time I met him, we were chatting with him in Karen. He has been on the front page of newspaper being auctioned several. And if you call a president and say, Mr. President, wewe ndio baba na mama, kani ni baba na, unasikia auctioneers wametoka.
Now, so he wants the praise. You want to be praised
Of course. Yeah, so that I'm trying to say, now interfering with the state corporations, Kenya Airways should be allowed to thrive. Safaricom was under government. When Safaricom cut off from government and left Telecom Kenya, Telecom Kenya is doing nothing here.
Yeah, but there's nothing they're doing.
That Telecom Kenya, Safaricom came from Telecom Kenya and became now bigger than Telecom. Actually, Safaricom can now buy Telecom Kenya, not the other way around. Yet Safaricom was brought as one of the children of Telecom Kenya. So you go now to the issue of railways now. We even need to privatize these railways, these SGR, do a lot of PPP. So if I would be president, I will really work for private sector driven government. I don't mean that run the government like a private business. But what I mean is allow the private sector to play a lot in the economy. For example, this affordable housing, I should not even waste people that fighting in court with the people I want to. No. Ruto should have just done what? Should have incentivized the construction of houses through taxes, lowering taxes on a few things there, and giving some tax breaks to entrepreneurs who want to do business in real estate. They build the houses and they own their own things and go away. Why are you bothered by giving house that the president talking about? You know how many houses here in Nairobi? I'm jenga huku. I'm a builder. You live in Jing, build for me my Simba. No. Let the private sector do the business, because there's something, a dictum in governance. We say that government was not born on efficiency. And government is never meant to be efficient. And government is not efficient. And actually, if you look at Douglas North, who is a Nobel Prize winner of economics, says that therefore government will never be efficient. Government is about being functional, and the government is about compliance and accountability. And to do accountability, do compliance, sometimes is very costly. Do you know the government can go and spend 100,000 shillings to procure this phone at 50 shillings?
You spend 100.
The procurement process is very expensive because people have to sit down. Paperwork. Have you done tender for the government? The paperwork. And ata kalif moja kama iko upati. Like last time I was doing a tender with another government corporation, then they told me that there's a page which I did not continually serialize. That's the only reason why I didn't get the job. But I was the best. Like, for example, if there are 15 pages, civil, you serialize 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, then 8. 8. Hiyo umekosa hiyo kazi. Just because of the pages, even if you are the best consultant. But the private said, no, between Bon and Fred, who can do this job better? The private sector will pick the person who can do the job better, not the person who skipped a page. No, the issue was just that maybe, because you are printing them and you are doing them in, 4 copies, and this one was not 15. This ones are 420 copies, and the timelines were very short. So I just missed the serialization. It goes to somebody else. So if you want to make this a country work, this is the following, because I'm a leader, I don't want to talk about just complaints. One, bureaucracies in this country need to be knocked down properly. Secondly, the nonsense about broad-based government, which is adding expenditure to people, should be knocked down, so that we can have at least 25. I would say 25% of the revenue should go into running government. The rest of 75 should go into development, and this will work amazingly. And that's why if you look at the misunderstanding in John Mbadi's budget, whereby the budget has grown by 38% from 3.9 trillion to 4.3 trillion, that is 38% growth, while the revenue collected is growing at 4.8. So it means that the cost of running the government is growing at 38%, and the value the government brings is growing at 4.8%, which means there's a negative return on investment in this government. So we need to have a vision. Even Singapore, private sector driven government, lean, clean government with a vision. If the vision is to make Kenya a middle-class economy, whereby any Kenyan can drive a car if they wish, isn't it? Like in Europe, even a watchman can drive a car if they wish. If you choose, you are paying. Some people stay in a very nice house, but they don't own a car. But there's public transport is working, and they don't need a car, isn't it? Some people live in some remote areas, but they want to have a car.
They want to have cars.
So you choose what you want. Wanasema unachukua poison yule unataka kunywa. Unataka kunywa poison gani? So we want to allow Kenyans to really live a comfortable life, a dignified life. And these are very simple things. So run down the bureaucracies, professionalize politics, whereby we need to have professional running the government. Like you see, William Ruto is not a professional. That's why if people are trying to evaluate Ruto on a professionalism, they are wasting their time. It's like you are telling a fish to come and swim on top of a tree, isn't it?
It is impossible.
It's impossible. Or you are telling a monkey to compete with the fish inside the water. It's not possible. Let us have a way. Ruto cannot be measured on professionalism. He cannot be measured on matters integrity. Ruto should be measured on how he is playing politics. That's why I said Ruto needs an economic playbook, not a political playbook, because he has it. Yeah. It's not working at the moment because things have changed seriously, but he has at least. Because also you have to know that even if we say that Ruto is a smart politician, economics needs to work so that politics makes sense. Like now you go to Mount Kenya and promise people nonsense and tell them nimepatia your son as a CS. The question is, after being a CS, public service needs to be the best in Mbere. Because the guys in Mbere needs ID.
They need IDs.
They need passports. They need healthcare, isn't it? They need education. How is their son going to do that? Because Ruto is going to tell him you are the CS for public service, but Ruto is the CS behind him. So the incompetence of Ruto will be seen in the service delivery, but you are the face of public service. That's why even you see there is no CS in Kenya who is performing. Tell me which CS is performing. He's performing what? Ruto is the CS for all of them. Ruto is also the PS.
The PS.
And Ruto also is the director for all other departments.
And
because
he's the deputy.
Yes. If somebody can launch anything, even launching a transformer, who should launch a transformer?
Is the CS of
no. A CS launching transformer for what?
In fact, even not a CS. The MP.
In Kenya, where I was a consultant for, we have regional directors. Kenya has got the DG, Director General. Then we have directorates, isn't it? Then we have regional directors who reports to directorates who are headed by directors. Then we have Director General, isn't it? So regional directors can launch a road. If I become president, launch the road. Because Kenyans want road, they don't want to know who was launching it. Because the fact that Kenyans having road, they know who is the president. Why should you see my presidency in the road I'm launching? SHA should work. So the issue is nothing is working, but politics seems to be working. And then the fact that economy is not working, it's become very difficult to hear politics. Because economy is too noisy that you cannot hear the sweetness of politics. Politics ni tamu tu kama uchumi inafanya. Hata sasa hivi uende nyumbani kuna mapenzi, unakuja nyumbani una kiss bibi na hakuna lunch. Isn't it? Yeah. Una kiss bibi hakuna breakfast. Una kiss bibi unasema mimi nawapenda nini na hakuna school fees.
Be like, what is this man?
It won't work. So the economy is making so much noise that we cannot listen to the politics. It does not work.